OR20. So this is, you can usually do office and residential. So a lot of times you'll see an OR20. Michael has an OR20 with a house on it. They look like they're usually residential neighborhoods, but they could be on like usually fronts of neighborhoods where they maybe have a commercial zoning on the front. So you'll see that quite a bit. And you can usually do STR and stuff like that, and then by right. And there's another site that you can go and read through what the allowances all these are. So they're talking about CL, so CL is commercial limited, so you can do retail, financial, restaurant, office, like kind of like a low version of commercial compared to the MUL, which is like your massive density. CL, CSSC, and these are all very common. I've never seen commercial attractions, probably like I don't know, amusement park or a water park or something. Downtown code, this is a great one, of course. Usually you can go really high with these. You know, you got to make sure all these zoning codes will have high restrictions. That's why you don't have 5-story buildings in residential, you know. You'll have maybe your 35 or 45 feet. Then you get into shopping centers and industrial. IWD was a big one because Cherokee and Jones, that whole area in 37207, there's a lot of IWD. And that's where, you see all those STRs now because they took IWD and they turned it to RM20. And those are the bases. Does that answer that person's question?
Yes, we just said thank you.
Yeah, so and there's another good site too. Let's see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here we go. Your code. Every municipality that you're looking land, if you're going to another county or whatever, has those codes of ordinances. So this is where you really have to. This is where you have somebody on your team that knows how to read this stuff, and they'll just go through and they will,
Go to 17.
What's that?
Go to 17.
Oh, I meant to, I promise. Here we go.
And the bulk tables.
So here's your here's your terms. Somebody's asking about terms. I mean, these will answer all those. So yeah, district bulk table. Thank you for reminding me about this. Where is the table? Okay, here we go. Look at this. So now this is going to be like your setbacks, your density, stuff like that. So if you look at RS40, for instance, your minimum lot size, we know it's 40,000. Your maximum building coverage is going to be 0.25 of the. Is that the FAR? No, I don't think so. It'll tell you how it's measured, but it's probably 0.25 of the lot size. You can go up to 3 stories. But like when you're just like, well, what do I do with this? This is the first place you go. As you go onto this, like here's all your RMs, your MUNs, you'll have your you can either do it by acre, like it may be half a lot, or usually it's called floor area ratio, FAR, and that's all of your habitable area and your parking and like elevators and stuff like that.
So Greg, you've been doing this for a while. Like were you in this space before you started doing this, or like how did you get started? And I mean, this seems like a ton of stuff that you have to know.
Well, it is, but like you start with 2 builds, some sort of before builds. Remember back, a few years ago, you had one house, and like everybody was like, "Oh my god, you can build 2." So it was an R6, and remember R6 is crazy. So it's like kind of start looking through that. And it's like you have some together, keep bring 2 to 4, just. Finding, because when I was looking for builders for a long time, and it's just, everybody has their box. They want an R6, they want an R8, cool, but like, what do we do with these other ones? So we started like trying to figure out, oh wow, we can do something with this too. It's and we started doing 1 and started doing 2, and then, I mean, we've done a lot over the past 5 or 6 years for sure. It started small, like putting 2 together, like that was one of our biggest ones. Was one of our first. I think this was our biggest profit when we started really getting into this. Was this one where we just and I was like, I invested in this deal, but I didn't invest as much as I should have, because at the end of the day, you don't always see it. And like it depends on like how much you have to invest at the time. Like some like small like this, it's like cool, we got this one, and then we got. What was one of these? Oh, it was combined together. This was 2 lots at one time that we put together.
And so they bought one, and then they just got the other one, and then
So creating
Then-
value by
yeah.
assemblage.
Assemblage of
Assemblage is
properties,
huge.
and then put it together and then.
Yeah, so like this one, for instance, this is another one. This was 2 lots. This is the very first one we did. This is where we kind of learned together, you know. I didn't really know them, they didn't really know me. We just figured it out, you know. This was IWD. This whole area is IWD. And we had to turn it into RM20, and that at that point you could do STR as RM. So this turned out to be like the first STR project. And like I said, when you find dirt in one area, you want to stay in the area. So then we went ahead and bought these. Is this part of it? Yes, all of this. So we did go to assemblage here. And then of course I will go here. I'm like, oh, everybody knows this guy, Will Barr. So of course I called Will and see if he wanted to sell that. He didn't. But since we're nice guys, when we rezoned the ones next door, we put his name on the application, rezoned his property for him. Because, you know, I mean, A, it's the right thing to do, and he wanted to do it, he didn't know how to do it. And B, it's just, maybe he would want to sell to us one day, you know, but now it doesn't matter because we already built on it, so he's too late. But, you know, you want to poke around at the neighbors, you know, it's like this one. Yeah, see, owner in common, we know what that is, right? That's like an HOA, so it's like in the middle of an HPR. So you know, you have your HPR, you've got your site plan, you've got your owner in common, which is like the driveway, front lawns and stuff. So this one, we knew this was one for this project right here, way before it even started. So it was another reason why I bought over there. You know, because we knew that Core had purchased this and they had their easement right here, or their owners in common here. So for whatever reason, maybe they thought it was good. We thought people could walk from ours into there and use whatever amenities they had, you know?
Do you use your own surveyor or do you go through the engineer surveyor when you get these surveys?
Whoever says yes and can show up
Yeah.
is who we use.
In
Do it
in a
right.
timely
But I
manner.
think it's really cool that you did the, you know, your knowledge, you assembled the knowledge as you were assembling the properties.
Well, you learn through the deals, like
Yeah,
if
I
you,
mean, I love
if
that.
anybody if anybody thinks that they can sit in front of their computer and Google land development, you're gonna read a bunch of stuff, but you only learn doing the deals. And that's what multifamily, that's what literally a single family rental is like. If you're not actually putting money in something and doing something, you're just gonna be reading. I mean, you're just like, you're not gonna be able to use your knowledge because you can only learn by doing it. That's the only way I know how to do it. Like I am not even close to the smartest person on my team, but I know who to call. I know who to talk to. I know the questions to ask, and I'm never afraid to ask questions. Like, I mean, I go at everything like I don't know anything. Like I go into everything with I'm gonna figure it out. I don't know what it is, and I may not know what it is, but I don't want to be the smartest person, you know,
No,
ever.
but you do have a genius though, in that you have the ability to look at something and guess what the highest and best use is going to be. You know, you use me to confirm it, but you usually have a pretty good idea.
Pretty good idea, yeah. But it's like, you know, it's just like you learn residential. You know, you learn your whatever you got need for residential. It's just like learning the rules and kind of keeping up with stuff. And it's really difficult for sure. That's why you have the engineers. Like we can't keep up with everything, you know, because you got to keep up with the bills. You know, anything is on a legislative that could affect, you know, like if you have a contract on an STR and they're getting ready to wipe STR off of a certain area, I mean, that's gonna really affect. That's why you have to have these long contract periods because a lot could happen and you have to really make sure that there's nothing gonna jeopardize you in the future. You know, that's why sometimes you can only buy it at a certain, like maybe you're not buying it at highest and best use. You could buy it at the use that I know I could use in case something happens. And then if it turns out that we have a sweet value add, it's a bonus, but you've got to really know how to weigh. You can't shoot for the moon at every point throughout. So you have to like, you know, like, I mean, like the ones we just bought, we're definitely not shooting for the moon right now. I mean, we're just like, well, we know this is next door. We know that we got a road to work out. We know this stuff to work out. We've got 3 of 4 of the assemblage and we've got a great relationship with number 4. So, you know, that's kind of enough to like go in at a nice entrance price that, you know, maybe we could, our buy right will make it worth, you know, at least we have it where it's kind of buy right where we could put just enough townhomes to cover the bases, you know, instead of like doing a massive value add. She's saying the time's up.
No, so we have a question here.
Question.
on
What are
on
the biggest common mistakes to avoid for a newbie?
not finding people that know what they're doing.
And you just heard Greg say, right? He's not afraid to ask questions.
There's
Right? So
like land
you're
development is
not-
really different. Like it's, you have to know how you have to have a risk tolerance. You have to be uncomfortable with millions of dollars for probably all the time. You know, so like don't get into it if you're like, if you haven't done a single family home yet. If you haven't done like a quad or like, you know, you don't just buy an apartment building right away. You know, you buy a single family home first, you know, so start with like, build a single build, learn the process, build a 2 build, learn the process. Rezone a 2 build into a 4 build, or find some type of value add that is not very risky, that you can bring on maybe one partner. You're not looking for $5 million, you're looking for $100,000. You know? Answer, okay, cool.
No, yeah, good. So that hour went real quick, didn't it?
Yes,
Oh.
I have a question.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, sorry.
So Greg,
No,
when
I-
you're calling the landowners or texting the landowners and you finally get that, yes, I want to sell. What steps are you taking to make sure you get the deal and you and the landowner are on the same page? As far as the next-
Full transparency. And does it always work? No. So like, you just have to tell them, we go into it and we tell them all of the encumbrances. Like, you know, and another thing I didn't even mention was title work. Like, if you're not getting your title work and reading through your title work and having your attorney, title work, like everybody's used to, oh, cool, we got clear title. That means nothing and stuff like this. You got recorded easements, encroachments, docs, HOA stuff, a person, like an old PUD, just weird stuff that you have to work through. But you have to have an attorney look through your title work. We have title work contingencies on all of ours. So I know that doesn't answer your question, but like, it's just like negotiating with a single family homeowner that wants 200,000, it's worth 150. You just gotta tell them why it's not worth 200,000. And if they're motivated enough to move or not, you know? There's so many of these that we come across that we just don't come to terms with because they just doesn't make sense.
Are we done with questions?
What's that?
I don't even know if we're done with questions or can I ask one more?
Oh, you can ask another question.
I was
that's
gonna
fine.
say, you can give a snapshot out of all the deals you've done. What has been the deal that you didn't have the best results on, and how did you respond to it?
Yeah, that's a good one. So there was one deal, I think we made $742.
At least you didn't lose money.
Well,
Yeah, they wouldn't have lost
there
that.
was a situation where, okay, so we were doing, it was a simple 2 build. And we had it under contract with the seller, and the seller really needed to sell. Like, she inherited the house, it was a tear down. She was gonna like try to fix it up herself. So our end buyer didn't show up to closing. So we all in one day pooled the money to close on it, even though we knew we were kind of over the hill on that. So I think we pretty much bought it for the end price. So we had to add commissions because we had to list it because I couldn't sell it. I had multiple people out there. I had a lot of encumbrances with the sewer and just like it was sloped down and just weird. And then we were just like, oh, we made $700 that we had to pay taxes on. You know?
Well, we appreciate Greg. I know we tried to, and that hour of that went real quick, real fast.
Well,
Greg is gonna be here for afterwards to answer questions as well. And then he, like he said, he's gonna be doing his deep dive class that you'll all
Yeah,
get
in June,
information
yeah.
on in June.
Yeah.
All of
They'll
that
be
good
here in
stuff. So,
Florida.
It's gonna be by Zoom. Yeah.
Okay.
by Zoom. But we really appreciate Greg. We always love having him come and speak because he is a wealth of knowledge, as you can tell. Like I say, he'll be here for a few minutes afterwards.
Very few.
But when you leave, make sure you take a bundt cake or two, right?
Yes,
And
you take multiple.
Yeah, multiple
Take
bundt
one back.
cakes day for.
Give you a bag.
We appreciate Servpro and in bringing those for everybody. And then also to Janice, Janice saying, right, we want to help you improve your standard of living so you can improve your standard of giving. right? So I know Greg's very, I mean, he's very much loves the opportunity to, he has a nonprofit and all that kind of stuff too. So, a lot of stuff that they do on land development is to improve and help out the community as well. So, yeah, you can make money along the way, but, there's also,
Can't
they
keep all
also
of it.
do have a heart of, you want to help community, things like that, right? So just remember all of that. We appreciate you coming. Every second Thursday of every month, we have this learning series, and as you can tell, it's free, and you actually get goodies on the way out from there. So thanks again, Greg. Appreciate it, and thanks for coming out. Please give him.